You are entering the bonus stage, a podcast produced in association with OceanOfBees.com, with your host Marauder
and Phoenix923,
a podcast for all gamers,
console and PC alike.
Welcome to Bonus Stage.
Hello and welcome to Bonus Stage, a podcast produced in association with OceanOfBees.com. As always, I am your host Marauder, and in this episode I am joined, as always, with my friend Phoenix923.
Hello.
And a special guest this time, well, not really that special, he's been on here before, is Jab from OceanOfBees.com, better known as the PC Game Inspector.
I'm still pretty damn special, damn it.
But not in the way you think.
2 dams already.
Eventually.
Don't miss the short bus home.
Aw, that's mean. But accurate.
We need some conflict in this podcast anyway.
Yeah, we all need to hate you and you need to hate us, and that'll make it interesting. At least that's how most of the reality TV gets away with it.
Let's not talk about reality TV ever again.
This is a gaming podcast, damn it. Alright, so, as always, we're going to start this off by checking out what is new on OceanOfBees.com, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about since we have not recorded this in a while. We have a whole bunch of new videos and 2 new blogs. I'll start with the videos and work my way up from the bottom. The first video is Jenkins Plays Surgeon Simulator 2013 Attempt 1, and I'll throw in Attempt 2 as well, that's above that. Well, why don't you just talk about it, Jab, since it's your segment?
Well, people have been demanding more Jenkins-related videos. And they're very easy to do. Just him playing a game and talking while he's playing.
It was quite hilarious. That Surgeon Simulator game looks really spotty at best. The way that the hand grabs things and...
It definitely needs some tweaking. It's like trying to learn how to move your fingers after being paralyzed.
Well, that's kind of like another version of QWOP. So, you just gotta get used to it.
And if you drop something on the floor, that's it, gone forever.
I can't believe that you actually, or that Jenkins actually succeeded in completing the game.
I'm not convinced that patient's gonna live, you know.
You just kind of dropped the heart in place.
Let's consider this. You smashed his ribcage open, you threw everything that was in there out, and you just kind of threw the heart in.
I wouldn't say smashed the ribcage open, I would say gently tapped the ribcage into 1,000,000 pieces.
Oh, man. No,
yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
It is a great couple of videos, lots of fun. So for those of you out there demanding more Jenkins, you got what you wanted. So go check it out. Above that is my review of Atomic Runner, part of my Retro Adventures series. And that's a video that I very much liked because I wasn't sure what to do in terms of the video until a friend of mine did a really bad Russian impression. And I just knew I had to use that. So that was fun.
Well, you are a puny capitalist pig dog.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
You do give off that vibe.
Ah, thank you.
Don't mention it.
I'm terrible at trying to one-up you on...
Nothing but the good old country of America.
God damn it. Alright, anyway.
You and your Brits go back to eating your toffee.
That was a fun review, though.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that one. Again, it was just a game that I pulled off of a store shelf and paid a couple of bucks for, and it quickly became one of my favorites. I think I've played that for 3 weeks straight almost. So I just had to do it as a review. So I dropped everything I was working on for what was going to be the Columns review, and I started working on the Atomic Runner review, and that got done first. So
we know what's coming next time.
Maybe, unless I find something else that, again, pulls me away from Columns. I can only do so much with Columns, because it's Tetris, but not. Anyway, going forward, we have Off the Chain Episode 9, Nigel Burns, talking about another one of his...
It's Nigel Byrne. Damn it. There ain't no
Okay.
S on the end of that.
My apologies. Nigel Byrne, talking about another one of his keychain collectibles.
This
Walt
episode is
Disney
actually
World
the most
one.
different one so far, because it actually has a surprise twist at the end.
Yes, it does. So if you guys want to know what that surprise twist is, check that out. And the latest video we have, which was posted just a couple of days ago, is a new person on the site by the name of, with a series called Sammy J. Reads. And she talks about the book The Daylight War. So Jeb, why don't you talk about this, because you actually recruited her onto the site.
Well, if I tell you about the recruitment process, it's a year-long odyssey. Because when I was looking for new people for the site, about a year ago, I messaged several book reviewers. She was at the top of the list, I believe, but didn't reply. So then I tried to recruit other book reviewers, some of whom were not entirely clothed. But thankfully those ones didn't come through. And then she actually responded 11 months, I believe, after my initial message. Because apparently she'd been very busy. But was immediately very interested in the site, even after looking at it. And even after finding out that she'd be wedged right between Cheapy and Josh DeFeo. Which is a place no woman wants to be, let's be honest.
Oh man.
But people should definitely check out her
she
videos.
She is the most productive of the three of them, so maybe having her star in the middle will give them a kick in the ass.
Should radiate onto them.
Yes.
People should definitely check out her stuff, though.
No, I did watch the one that was posted on the site, The Daylight War, her review of that book, and it was quite good.
I'm not even a big reader of books, but they are engaging videos.
I actually went into a Barnes & Noble a couple days ago and actually bought a book, and I felt weird, like buying a book.
And so you should.
But everything's digital. Why are you going
Dinosaur.
and buying a hard copy?
I don't give a shit about ebooks. I like actual books. But the problem is, like, I go to the library a lot, so it's very rare I buy a book, because it's very rare I find a book that I, want to read more than once.
What about a mint condition Zelda manual?
Those aren't books. Those are instruction manuals. Completely different, but somewhat the same.
How many times have you read that?
Oh, geez. Well, the Super Metroid one I read through like 7 times. Because when I was a kid, I was no good at the game, so I would just sit and read the manual.
Because you got stuck at the wall jumping.
Yes, because I got stuck at the wall jump. It's broken! Like, everything that's great about that game and that one aspect could have been handled way better. I mean, look at the way Ninja Gaiden did it. Why don't you just do it that way? And that was on the NES. But still, anyway. Alright, so moving on to the new blogs. We have 2 new blogs. One by that Canadian guy, as he tries to single-handedly solve all of Quebec's language problems in a blog entitled Harmony Through Exclusion. I think I agree with your statement, Jab, about it being a little too political for the site, but hey.
That's not a bad thing, though.
No.
We need variety.
We're branching out. And, but I found it to be an okay read. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he does have a nice way with words.
Yes. Especially stringing them together into sentences and then paragraphs.
A rare gift.
Yes. And right above that in the blog section is my review of Gi Joe Retaliation. Just a movie I saw last weekend or so. And so if you want to see what my thoughts, or read what my thoughts were on that, feel free to jump on the oceanbees.com site and check that out.
So you spoil everyone else's videos, but you still don't say anything about yours to make people want to read yours more.
I didn't say anything about Canadian guys. I said I enjoyed reading it.
Well, you talked about how it was political and everything.
I gave my thoughts on the overall feeling I had of it, but I didn't give away any content.
It's not exactly full of twists and turns, is it?
No, not really. Alright, so we're going to jump ahead to our next segment, which is the news and topic segment. We have 2 news articles, one I wanted to talk about and one that Phoenix wanted to talk about. So I will start with the one that I found, which just happened a couple of hours ago, at least when we're recording this, which is that Disney, which bought LucasArts and Lucasfilm and Skywalker Sound and the entire company of Lucas, is closing LucasArts, which is a huge, huge, huge shame. LucasArts being one of the better developers that I've come across.
Well, if you like Star Wars games.
Well, no, because they've published... Well, I guess developing is different than publishing. They've published a lot of interesting things. There was a game, Red Rock, on the PS2 and Xbox, where you got to explore Mars. That was a lot of fun. There was a game called Armed and Dangerous on PC and Xbox, which did nothing but poke fun at Star Wars and other movies and stuff like that in the cutscenes.
Outside of Grim Fandango, I'm not even aware of most of their work.
Yeah, Grim Fandango was an older one that they worked on, an old point-and-click adventure that a lot of people liked, myself included.
Who is that fat man, and how does he fit into this sinister puzzle?
I read of a project, they're trying to resurrect that game and make it playable on modern-day PCs. So that's going to be interesting if they ever get that off the ground. But anyway, back to the point. So yeah, Disney bought all of Lucas and they're closing LucasArts, which they've been around since '82, I think. And it wasn't actually started by George Lucas. It was started by a group of game developers that were inspired by Star Wars. And so they named the company Lucasfilm Games. And it wasn't until a couple years later that Lucas actually bought the company and called it LucasArts. So a little interesting factoid for you there. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's a real shame whenever a company has to close, especially one with a pedigree such as them.
How many employees did they have?
I'm not sure, and the article I found doesn't really state how many.
Anyway, next topic.
Yeah, but anyway, it's really sad, and according to this article, Disney's going to turn the Star Wars franchise into more of like a licensing deal, so rather than LucasArts working on everything, they're just going to license it out to other developers who want to make a Star Wars game.
Probably a good thing.
In come the Star Wars clones.
Yeah, right. One game that they said...
Get a million Clone Wars games.
You know, a lot of the Clone Wars games that came out around the same time as the movie were not that bad. Star Wars Clone Wars on the GameCube was actually a lot of fun.
I'm just kind of poking fun at the whole, there's like 10 different animated series of just on the Clone Wars, and...
Oh, yeah, that's been canceled, too. That 3D cartoon. That was canceled because it was on Cartoon Network, and so when Disney bought it, they canceled the show. I thought they'd, move it over to one of their Disney Channel, like Disney XD or something.
Wait. Something I've never heard of has been cancelled. This will not do.
You've never heard of Star Wars Clone Wars, the TV show?
Not especially.
Well, there's different versions of it.
Oh, well, there was the 2D animated one and the 3D animated one. The 2D one was actually really, really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The 3D one is okay. It's a lot more kid
Yeah, surprisingly,
focus.
I actually sat through and watched the 2D one whenever it was on. The 3D one, I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, I lost interest in it as well. Well, anyway, it's a real shame because, like I said, the company has a huge pedigree. But the thing that I find most surprising is they had a game they were working on called Star Wars 1313, which I'm not really sure what it was about, but all of the stuff I've seen, such as the concept art and such, looked really interesting.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be like the next big game that they were going to release out.
Yeah, I don't know what it was exactly supposed to be, but...
At a guess, I'd say it would have something to do with 13.
Yes, probably. But yeah, that has been halted, quote unquote. I'm reading the article from usatoday.com. I'll have a post in the description about it if anybody wants to go read it themselves. But yeah, that's a real shame, and I'm gonna miss that company a lot because for every bad game they had come out, they had a handful of really good games too.
Which other companies have closed recently?
Which one's closed?
Did THQ actually close yet?
Oh yeah, yep. THQ had a fire sale on all their properties, and they're still kind of going through... I mean, they are officially closed right now. They're still looking to sell off some of their IPs. 38 Studios, which is a company that made the Kingdoms of Amalur game, which actually, from what I hear, is a really good game, ended up closing. Zynga, I heard, laid off a bunch of people, which I don't give a shit about, because Zynga's, Facebook games. That's all that come to mind, anyway. So, but it's always a shame whenever a company closes. The one that really got me was Factor 5, when they closed a while back. That was really surprising. But anyway, moving on, our next article, or piece of news we want to talk about, is there's a game called Remember Me, which is going to be out on, I think, PS3 and Xbox. And it's a kind of an interesting third-person action game where I think it has something to do with you play as this assassin who...
An amnesiac memory eraser piecing together her own lost memories among the streets of Neo-Paris in the year 2084.
Well, there we go.
I'm just reading the article.
Yeah, essentially you play as a character who has to get certain targets or objectives to complete. And the way that you do them is you actually modify that person's memory or reorganize the events that have happened so that they think certain things are happening in a certain order. Like if you want the target to kill somebody, you can reorganize his memory so it seems like she's done something to him and then he ends up killing her as part of a revenging. I've only seen some gameplay video a little bit and the trailer for it, and it looks really interesting. But anyway, the article that Phoenix brought up, and I'll let you talk more about this if you'd like, basically talks about... Fine. Well, alright, go ahead.
I just found this article really interesting, mainly apart from the fact that the developers of this game was trying to find a publisher to, bring it out just because they really can't afford the huge price tag of putting stuff on consoles. But they said quite a few of the companies that they went to basically said, your game is not going to sell well because you have a female protagonist. And they have a couple of quotes here, which is, well, we don't want to publish it because it's not going to succeed, and you can't have a female character in games. It has to be a male character, simple as that. And there was one other quote that I kind of found funny, where he said, "We had people tell us you can't make a dude like the player kiss another dude in the game because you're piecing together her memories, so then you get to know a bit of her private life, which involves her, I guess, kissing a guy, which is perfectly fine because she's a girl."
That's totally gay.
but I guess they just saw a problem with, because they thought that a lot of male players are going to be playing this, so they don't want, the male player to kiss another guy type thing, but I find completely stupid.
Is that why they always throw in the girl-on-girl option in all the RPGs?
Hey, Mass Effect did it.
Try to be all-inclusive. Yeah, I found this to be a really surprising article, mainly because I didn't really think about it before. But I mean, if you really sit back and think, how many female characters are there in games? There's Lara Croft. Well, there's a few, but I mean, any that are like the main character, that are the driving force behind the game itself. There's
we're talking ones that are actually characters rather than just there. Because in Portal, for instance, you don't really get any sense of the character, do you?
No, not really.
Still, you're playing as a female character. I mean, that's really what the point is that I kind of pulled from this.
It wasn't front and center, though. I mean, the only time you would see your character in Portal is if you set up the portals in a way where you could see yourself. So it wasn't like... It's not like Tomb Raider or... What's the other game? Blades of Time, where, you play as a girl from beginning to end. I think that's the point he's trying to make. Whereas in Portal, it's a first-person shooter, so you just see the gun and a potato for most of the game. But anyway.
No, I think it's kind of mostly stems from the whole, how successful first-person modern warfare, Call of Duty's, Battlefield games have been, where you're just all male and testosterone and rrr type thing.
I really hope all the companies don't start basing their businesses around Call of Duty.
I kind of see it happening just because it's successful and people want to make money, and those games are kind of easy to make in terms of content. Because there's not really much there other than run forward, shoot, hide behind a wall to regenerate your health, and keep going that same pattern.
Well, let's make a sequel the next year and just reuse all of the maps.
Except they're mirrored. So people won't notice.
Well, it's like every year you get a new Call of Duty now. I mean, they're going to milk that franchise to where nobody cares anymore.
I wish nobody cared now.
There's always going to be more 8-year-olds, though.
Yes, more 8-year-olds that want to play.
Yeah, what was it? You were watching... Oh yeah, we were watching some guy on YouTube who was just... He uses soundboards in Call of Duty, and it's kind of funny.
Oh, the celeb gamer?
Yeah, and you made a comment as we were watching it, you go, why does everybody in this game sound like they're 12?
I did, because everybody is talking to him. It's like every other person that talks to him in those videos sounds like they're, 12, 13, 8 years old, some of them. I don't understand it.
Especially when those games aren't really meant for them to play in the first place.
Yeah.
Once you've already infiltrated such an easy market, you just have to keep shoveling the same stuff at them.
Well, I mean, look at a franchise like Tony Hawk. I mean, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games were really well received when they started, and then Activision just kept pumping them out year after year. There was a new one. And eventually they fell apart, and nobody wanted them anymore. Or, God, Guitar Hero, another Activision franchise that they, they
milked.
Spiked. Yeah, they milked it till it was...
Until people stopped caring.
Now there's just thousands upon thousands of plastic guitars out there that no one wants to use for anything. But, it's... Wow, Activision does that a lot. So... I mean, the only other one I can think of that might become a little overused is Electronic Arts and their Need for Speed series. Because they have Criterion working on one every 2 years, and they have DICE working on one every 2 years. So every year they have one that can come out. sell.
Criterion ones are better.
Yeah, Criterion ones are better. Dice ones are okay. Actually, I might pick up the new one, Need for Speed Most Wanted, on the Wii U, because Criterion worked on that one. It looks really fun. But you know, just every year they're pumping out another racing game. You just wonder how they can keep that up. But back to the point of the article. Other than Lara Croft, I really can't think of anybody that is I guess Metroid Samus from Metroid 2, you know, is a real big seller in terms of their games.
When do you find out that that's even a woman, though?
Oh,
is it in the first game you find out?
Yeah,
it's in the first game. You have to get the best ending to see that.
No. In the first game, she takes her helmet off no matter what. What you get if you get a better ending is she takes her suit off too, and she's in like this purple bikini thing with like hair.
Joke's on you. You played as a girl.
I remember finding out she was a girl in Super Metroid because I never actually beat Metroid at that point. And Super Metroid was ridiculous because when you die, your whole like suit blows open and you kind of see an outline of yourself. And I was like, "It's a girl? What?" And for the longest time, I called her Metroid because I thought that's what her name was. Well, you had Mario, you know, Super Mario Brothers, and he was called Mario. So I just assumed Metroid, that was Metroid. And Zelda, the little green guy running around, was Zelda. I didn't know. Not at that age.
Metroid sounds like it's named after some kind of infection.
Yeah, it actually does.
Parasitic infection.
But, yeah, but I didn't know there was all this stigma in the industry about a female character. It
doesn't seem to have been especially avoided over the years. It doesn't seem like anyone's gone out of their way not to make games with female characters before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's been a few. Like I said, Blades of Time comes to mind. X-Blades comes to mind.
It's the first time I can remember hearing
Mirror's Edge.
That a game has been cancelled or whatever because of this.
Oh, that it was denied a publisher?
Yeah.
Or that people didn't... Yeah, it's very weird. Shantae. I'm just trying to think of other ones.
Yeah.
If it was
And the
that
other
big of a
thing is,
problem,
if I
you'd think
play-
it would have come up before now.
Yeah, you would. Maybe it's just like really hush-hush kind of thing.
If you want to stretch, Amaterasu and Okami's a female.
Yeah, that's true. But you're still like a wolf.
Yeah.
So... Actually, you know, in a lot of RPGs, I end up making a female character, or in Borderlands, I play as a female character. I guess just for a little variety. Like, if I play Phantasy Star Online or Phantasy Star Portable, I make it a female character.
Well, you've got to have a bit of variety. It's like on Saturday nights when you wear a dress. There's nothing wrong with that.
I didn't think anyone
Thought I recognized that girl on that corner yesterday.
But anyway, yeah, it's really a shame that this is even a problem. Especially when supposedly, you know, what they say, like over 50% of gamers, or at least almost 50% of gamers, are female.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you're really going to think this is a big deal for people? And if you're the kind of gamer who gets all bent out of shape if they're playing as a female character, then you're obviously not the kind of gamer people want to associate with. I mean, like Phoenix brought up, you might just be the person who only plays Call of Duty. Or only plays Halo. So
What was that? I don't remember if I was talking with you, but we when you mentioned Halo, I was just like, wouldn't it be just so funny if Master Chief was really a female. Like the last game, they finally reveal his face, and it's a girl the entire time.
In Halo 7.
Yeah.
It's revealed there's just like a voice modulator in the helmet.
Uh-huh.
That would be a huge upset. Everybody would be like, "What? Bullshit."
I would actually play the Halo games because of that.
Would you play the Halo games if it turned out he was called Master Chef?
Isn't that a show?
Yes, and of course he would be a man then, because men are always the best chefs, aren't they?
I think a blind woman won it last season.
Yeah.
Well, there goes that idea.
But anyway, I don't really think of gender in a character. I just want to play a game that's a good game. It doesn't... I don't know, I'm not really bothered by it. But then again, I'm not your typical gamer. Or at least I'm not your typical Call of Duty gamer. Or Madden gamer. I'm actually a gamer who likes to play more than just shooters.
Like I said, all they're really looking at is dollar signs and what type of games have been selling really well. Battlefield, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, all that feature male protagonists. And I just think that they just think they're the type of games that only sell.
Yeah.
None of those ones you mentioned are particularly strong in the story department.
True.
None of them are
Which
strong.
is very
in the story
sad.
department.
Earth is being invaded by another thing, or our country's being invaded by another force, and we have to shoot them a lot.
Quick, call all the heavily muscled dudes.
You know what I'm getting really sick of, and I'll bring this up, is just the cover art on some of the games now. You ever, look at it? Like, every single shooting game is just, a picture of a guy with a gun standing, looking at the camera.
With a special Photoshop filter over him.
Yeah. Like, if you look at a game like Gears of War, or Halo, or... It looks like a movie poster for an action movie. Like, it's just the one guy, alone, on the cover. I don't know. It just... Even a game I've been playing recently, Spec Ops: The Line, has just an atrocious cover.
Right.
It's just the guy standing in the middle of the cover with a gun, with the desert behind him. Like, yeah!
Just needs a tagline under it like, "Are you man enough?"
You a bad enough dude.
You a bad enough... Yeah. No, it's... I don't know, you used to get such imaginative box art back in the day. I don't know. Sure, you had your general, look at the camera shots, like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3 all had that.
Oh, right. No, keep going. I have something to bring up now that you mentioned just the character standing in the cover.
Well, or Mario games, or stuff like that. But, I don't know, there's just something so uninspired about the kind of first-person shooter box art we've been getting. But anyway, go ahead with your point.
With you talking about that, it just reminded me. I like how it's not that big a deal with games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, whatever. But apparently it was a big deal for BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that, where a lot of people were upset they didn't put the little girl on the cover.
Well, no, they were just kind of disappointed at the fact that it was just a dude standing with a gun on the front cover and that was it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, that's the game you complain about? What about the 15 others?
Yeah, you look at even Killzone 1, 2, or 3, they all have the kind of guy looking at the camera with gun.
Mm-hmm.
They're all just very uninspired. So, I don't know. Hopefully developers going forward will kind of try new things.
And hopefully people will buy it when they do try new things.
Yes, hopefully people will buy it. Oh well.
Well, at least the good thing is since I think we should mention it and actually get back on topic, the developers did find a publisher to publish their game, which was Capcom.
Yes, Capcom is publishing the game, so that's good for them. But like I said before we started this, I just hope it doesn't have on-disc DLC, because Capcom's known for that.
You know it will.
I'm hoping it won't. I'm really hoping it won't. I want
Prepare to be utterly disappointed.
I want to I want to buy it. I really do, but I refuse to support that kind of business practice, so we'll see how that goes.
The woman starts off like an Eskimo, and then after a few weeks they release a DLC where it removes one item of clothing. And then it keeps going like that until she ends up in a bikini. Or you can get the season DLC pass that just gets you the whole lot for like 50% of the price.
Mm-hmm.
But you need all the DLC to get her in the bikini, though.
Yep.
All of it.
Alright, moving on. We actually do have a podcast question.
What?
Yes, it's actually posted by Jab. So good you're here, because you can explain this question. This was posted in the oceanofbees.com forums. Again, if anybody wants to post any podcast questions, you can head over to the oceanofbees.com forums, or leave them in the comment section below this video.
If anyone wants to post anything, head over to the oceanofbees.com forums.
Yes,
that was the only post in the last 6 months.
If you want to help us, justify the reason for a forum, head over there and start spamming. But not really. Anyway, the question goes as follows. Which game currently in development do you think will never be released? Star Wars 1313, apparently. That actually looked really interesting. Right. So are you talking... But let me get this right. Are you talking about a game that's in development now that may never see the light of day, or are you talking about games that were announced but never came out?
I'm talking about a game that's currently being developed, but you just don't think it'll ever see release. You think a problem will come up before the end.
I don't think Star Wars 1313 will ever see the light of day, sadly. And that's a real shame, because there was a lot of stuff I saw for that looked really, really good. It would be a shame if Pikmin 3 never saw the light of day. Because Pikmin 3 is one of the reasons I picked up a Wii U recently. So if that game was suddenly canceled, I'd be really disappointed.
But I want to send my hundreds of minions to their death.
With touch controls. I can't really think of any other ones. I mean, I don't generally follow a game until just before it comes out. So I'm not like... I don't like to read a lot of rumors and stuff. Because people can speculate all they want about certain things, but until it comes out, nobody knows for sure. So I don't generally read a lot of rumor stuff.
Just to vastly boost my contribution to this podcast, I've just found a couple of minor pieces of news, which we might discuss. Okay. One, apparently the next Xbox controller is going to be identical to the current one, but slightly smaller.
As long as you can still use the old controllers, I'm okay.
Well, that doesn't say anything about that.
Slightly.
No, you need to use our new ones, because they're better, they're smaller.
That's what I kind of hate about the PlayStation 4, is they redesigned their controller with like a touchscreen and a share button, and then they made the joysticks all weird. And it's like, really? You're going to take what people liked about your controller for the last 15 years and change it?
Because no one else has ever Oh wait, Nintendo.
Well, yeah, but Nintendo...
Oh crap! Nintendo is something that might work! Quick! Throw a touchscreen in it! There's no room! Just do it!
You know what controllers need? They need more giant 2-inch wide things in the middle of the controller that do absolutely nothing, and more shoulder buttons.
There needs to be 4 shoulder buttons.
At least.
Or no. 4 triggers and 4 shoulder buttons. Because, yeah.
If there's a body part that isn't currently required for a button, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, no, Alone in the Dark kind of did that.
Oh, God.
Remember there's a blink button?
Yes, there's a blink button. There's a button to turn the keys of the car. There is a button to... Oh, yeah, no. There's a button to do pretty much everything, and none of them stay constant, so... It's quite something to play. Yeah, as long as you can still use the old controllers, I'm okay with it. I mean, they redesigned the 360 controller from the original Xbox controller, and it worked fine. Yeah, I mean, it was similar enough, though, I guess is the point.
Are you ready for the next groundbreaking piece of news?
Okay.
I can't wait!
Now, I don't know if you've already heard this, but apparently Rage 2 is cancelled.
No, I didn't hear, but I don't give a shit.
Wow. I did not hear anything about that game.
I didn't even know they were developing it because Rage 1 sold so poorly. I assume they weren't even working on one.
I did hear it was pretty bad.
It wasn't, from what I understand, it wasn't terrible. It was just, like, generic.
Coming from Bethesda, since, I did buy it and play it a bit, coming from Bethesda, you would expect, kind of an open-ended world
with
type
bugs.
thing. Yeah, with bugs, plenty of bugs. But since I've played it, there's not really any open-endedness. You're just driving down a corridor from one location to the other. There's really nothing to it. And it was just kind of disappointing once I kind of found that out. And I haven't played it since.
From the screenshots and everything, it seemed to be positioning itself as a more mature and realistic Borderlands.
Yeah, it actually did look like a Borderlands style game a little bit, but I wasn't interested in it because of their online pass thing, where basically if you didn't buy the game brand new, they would lock off certain areas of the game to you until you paid them more money.
Wasn't that the first game to do that?
No, it wasn't the first game to do that.
I know it was really.
It was really early.
Early.
I remember some Sony games were doing online passes before that, and then Rage came out and said they were doing an online pass of sorts. I don't know why game developers have such a problem with the used game market.
Especially since the used game market is, the driving force behind their actual new sales.
I read an interesting article about some guy comparing it to the car industry, where like people who sell used cars, they don't have that big of a problem with used sales. And a guy in the comment section of that article brought up a really interesting point. He said, yes, but the people that sell their used car use the money to buy a new car. So the people selling the new cars, see that as a benefit. Like, yeah, you can sell your car for $2,000, whatever, down the road, and put that towards a new car.
That's the exact same with the used game market.
Right. That's exactly what's happening in the used game market. People bring in the games they don't play anymore, and they put it towards the purchase of a new game. And they take that new game home. So, again, I don't really see the problem, but apparently it's a huge, gigantic issue that they need to put in all this stupid DRM and on-disc DLC and online passes and all this other bullshit that isn't necessary. But whatever. I've done my rant about used game sales anyway, but that's an interesting little point. Also, I read another article that stated that used game sales for the GameStop stores accounts for 30% of their overall sales, at least as of last year. So the other 70% is taken up with new game sales, hardware sales, and other miscellaneous sales.
So take that, publishers.
Yeah, so take that. They're only 30%. And most of that, I'm assuming, is trade-ins to, purchase the new game. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really see a problem with it, but apparently it's a huge issue that the publishers need to worry about and fret about when...
Just because they're not getting a piece of the used game pie, they want it.
The interesting thing is you don't see that big of a problem with like used DVD sales. Like if someone if I took a DVD off my shelf and sold it to you, or sold it to Jab, is it really that big a deal? No. But I think it's just the point that movies are generally $20 to $25 and games are $60 plus. They cost a lot of money.
Means we're not downloading it illegally, for one thing.
Well, true. I mean, I try not to download anything illegally, which...
Oh yes, as do I.
Well, Phoenix...
In case anyone in law enforcement is listening.
Phoenix can attest to the number of DVDs I own.
Basically any sort of open space in his room. It is just DVDs and games.
And Dreamcasts.
Yes.
And one of my many Dreamcasts. But anyway, getting back to the topic. Yeah, I don't think Star Wars 1313 will ever see the light of day, and I would be shocked if Pikmin 3 gets canceled.
Well, I don't know, I was just thinking of one that I don't think currently is in development, but I know that it'll never come out. Is that...
Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah. Sole reason I bought a 3DS and they cancel it.
I know.
But no, I think it was sometime at the end of last year, you found an article where Nintendo was considering releasing the Mother series, all 3 games on just one cart thing for, 3DS or something.
Oh, well, they were talking about releasing a collection, yeah.
Yeah, that's one game series I see they'll never release.
That's really such a shame, considering how much of a cult following the original has.
Uh-huh. And it's one of the best RPGs ever.
I mean, even if they released it on their virtual console or their eShop or whatever, just to test the waters and see how many they could sell.
I just kind of hope they do, because then it'll probably bring down the prices of the SNES cards.
Yeah, no, the prices of the Super Nintendo version are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like $100 a cart.
No, it's more than that now.
Oh, right.
It's like $250 a cart.
Yeah.
And you would know because you've bought 5 of them?
No, I've been looking for one, but I don't want to pay a ridiculous amount of money.
And I have it.
And, yeah. And Phoenix has it back from when it came out. I wasn't aware of it when I was a kid.
Just offer someone a couple of Dreamcasts.
No, there has been a few copies that came through the local Goodwill, but they're too smart. They put it on their online store.
Yeah, they keep putting it online and charging way too much for it. I don't know. Eventually I might, I don't care one way or the other. I'd like to have a copy, but it's not anything, no big deal. I just don't want to spend $150 whatever on a game. Speaking of that, did you see the price of Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yes, I did.
That thing shot through the roof.
Yep.
Not surprising given the fact that it was a GameStop exclusive and one of the best games to come out on the Wii in its entire lifespan. Which makes me very happy that I have it, because
I'm so glad after you talked it up, I went and bought it when they had their second run. The day GameStop got their shipment in. That was when I got it.
Yep. And our friend Alex bought a copy, and he wasn't going to buy a copy till I told him to.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's really happy. He actually bought Last Story in order to sell it, but then Last Story dropped in price. Meanwhile, Xenoblade skyrocketed in price. And now he's upset because he really likes Xenoblade and doesn't want to sell it. But anyway, I don't buy games, obviously, to resell, but it's just kind of interesting to see how the prices just go up and down a lot.
It's an SNES game. It's rare.
Not really. When I can type it into eBay and get like 120 plus results, it's not rare. But anyway, so yep, those are. Is there a game, Jab, that you would see that's in development now not come out?
There's nothing that springs to mind. I'm not that up on what's in development and what's not, to be honest.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't generally follow the games until just before they come out. My one exception being Mega Man Legends 3. But they canceled that, so it's kind of a shame.
Speaking of values of games, there's only one game-related thing that I ever check the value of, and that is my Team Fortress 2 Bill's hat, just because people constantly ask me for it. So I occasionally look to see how much it's worth, except I can never really tell because it's always in refined metal or something. I don't really know what any of that means.
Yeah, I tried Team Fortress 2. I'm not a competitive guy, so I didn't really find it all that fun. Just for me.
I don't even have to play a game of it and people will be after my hat. Every month or so I get a message from somebody. Hi, you want to trade? And then I'll
Give
say,
me your hat.
I'll say, for what? Bill's hat. Block.
No, this is my hat. Well, it's Bill's hat, but it's my hat.
I wouldn't care, but it actually looks good.
No, I got Ellis's hat.
Oh, I don't think that's nearly as valuable.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
The vintage Bill's hat is $132.
I'm pretty sure mine's a regular Bill's hat.
Yeah, there's no listing for the regular Bill's hat. It's just the vintage one.
Well, people apparently really want Bill's hat. So, it must have been hard to get that then.
It's only for people that pre-ordered Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh.
So there's never going to be any more of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kind of like my Linux Penguin. No, the sole purpose of me installing Linux on my computer was not that. It just happened around the same time.
Very nice.
Even though I don't play Team Fortress 2, I do enjoy free goodies. And plus I can say, haha, I have it.
I believe that some people stockpile a lot of particular items, just because when the marketplace has less at the minute, suddenly the ones they have will soar in value.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Anyway, let's move on to our last segment of the night, and that is what we've been playing, where we talk about a couple of the games that we've been playing. Probably got to come up with a better name for this segment, but whatever.
Yeah, you should have come up with one by now. What's this, like, 18th episode or something?
19th.
Oh, come on.
But, well, it's straightforward, and it kind of wraps up the podcast nicely. So, obviously, we're going to talk about a couple of games, 3 or 4 games we've been playing. And, Jab, since you're our special guest, you can start if you'd like.
Okay, well, I think I've only been playing 2 games. I did just finish Knights of the Old Republic 2, which I was quite happy with, because people told me it was a lot worse than the first one, but to me it seemed exactly the same. It was more like a continuation. It
had balancing issues, if you ask me.
I don't know, I didn't really encounter any problems with it.
Just in Star Wars Knights 2, I just remember I leveled up I forget what they call it, but the ability where you jump forward and slash with your lightsaber whenever you target a guy. And near the end of the game, I'd leveled that up so much I could kill everybody just by jumping at them.
Although, I will say, I think it's insanity power. I was kind of overly relying on that towards the end of the game, just making everyone in the room go insane and then going around one by one, cutting them to pieces. And lightsaber wielding characters seemed very powerful compared to anyone with a gun.
Yeah, like I said, it had some balancing issues.
Well, it didn't really affect my enjoyment of it.
Oh no, it was still a really good game. I still really enjoyed it myself as well.
Interesting story and everything. People complained about the ending. I didn't know why until I looked online and found how much they actually cut out. I'm not going to say too much, though, in case anyone hasn't played it.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the ending, because it's been so long since I played it, back on the original Xbox.
Well, it only came out on Steam a year or two ago, I think. So that's why I've only just got around to it.
Oh wow, yeah, I'll have to pick that up.
Yeah, I have the first one. Haven't gotten much around to that one.
That is
Ryan,
it's one of the best
really
RPGs.
Good.
It's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It's really, really good. I mean, I guess because I'm a Star Wars fan, or I was a huge Star Wars fan back when that game came out, that I just really dug it. But I think just if you're a general RPG fan, like I know you are, you'll enjoy it.
Because it's old, it may take people a while to get into the controls and everything. If they're used to the likes of Mass Effect, that's a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm. No, I just remember the day. Hey, Marauder, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is $250. Should I get it? Buy it, 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 buy it.
And you bought 5 copies.
Gave out the codes. Yeah, no, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, the second game was also quite good. Not on the same level, but still a decent follow-up.
It was always going to have trouble kind of emulating the big plot twist in the first one, which I'm not going to give away.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first one won, like, I don't know, like 40 Game of the Year awards or something. People just loved it, so any sequel that comes after that is just going to be an utter failure.
And I only played the first one a couple of years ago as well, when that came out on Steam.
Yeah, both are great, but yeah, the second one is not as good, but still a decent game. I had fun with it.
And then when I finished that, I've been playing Batman Arkham City, which is also very good.
Now, I would buy that, except for the fact that DRM really pisses me off. The fact that you have to have games for Windows Live, and you have to have, and it has a Secu-ROM, so it limits your installations.
Well, Games Windows Live is annoying, especially since it never lets me log in the first time. It says something wrong with connection, hit retry, immediately lets me in every time.
Yep.
Without fail.
In the middle of a game, it just drops you for no reason.
But
the thing
with
the games of Windows Live for me is I've never actually had a problem with it. You know,
it's just annoying more than anything.
So just things that I hear people talking about, I'm like, I didn't have that problem.
If you have to go through Steam, you don't have to go through Games Windows Live as well.
But no, I totally agree with you. It's completely unnecessary, especially when you're going through Steam.
Still, if they end up dropping Arkham City to like $3 or whatever, I might pick it up.
It's definitely worth it. I very much enjoyed Arkham Asylum, and it's basically the same thing, just on a much larger scale, which is what everyone wanted, I imagine. Because the way that the first one worked was pretty sweet.
I did really enjoy Arkham Asylum. I don't think I ever beat it, but I did really enjoy it.
I don't read comics or anything, so I imagine anyone that's really into Batman would enjoy it even more.
I just really dug the fact that they got Mark Hamill for the Joker.
That is fun.
From the animated series, so for both Arkham City and Asylum, so it's great.
All the voice acting is good, really. Everything's good. It's just really smooth in all departments.
Yeah, no, they're really fantastic.
I haven't really encountered any bugs.
So anything else you've been playing?
Well, there's an easy way to find out. Hello, Steam.
What were my
Nope,
recent played games?
nothing else.
Okay.
Who's next?
Well, Phoenix, go ahead.
Okay, I guess that works. Well, my usual spiel, busy, schoolwork, whatever. I've only had time to really play one game, and that one game has been Hitman Absolution, since it was $10 on Steam recently. And I'll have to say, that game is fantastic. Because it goes... I've kind of played the other three Hitman games, and I do own all of them on Steam now. And it just goes back to that kind of old school hard type game. Your health doesn't regenerate. If you screw up, you screwed up. It's your fault that something bad happened.
Like the original Splinter Cell.
Yeah. And it's just really fun because it has an immense amount of replayability. Just because each and every area you go through, I mean, there's like 20 levels, but each level is split up between 3 to 5 different areas. And each one of those areas has like multiple ways that you can, get through it. On top of just, although you would never do this, but just shooting up the place. But
you could.
You could. And, I've replayed, one mission like 12 times just to see, just so I could try and figure out a different way that I could, kill the target or whatever. And every single time I've had fun doing it, just because you just figure it out all on your own. I mean, I have looked up a GameFAQs just to see if there was any other, hints as to any other ways that I would be able to complete the missions. But no, those are useless. They just tell you the easy way and then, move on to the next level. They don't actually go into anything else. Because one of the first missions, you gotta kill the king of Chinatown or whatever. And I think the tutorial person, who just kind of guides you through these beginning missions, says there's 12 ways to complete it. I've only found 3.
Oh.
In the 15 times I've played it. And it's just fun to kind of sneak around and be all stealthy and, and the game has this point system where you can compete with other people around the world to see, who gets the highest points and whatever.
Which is completely useless because people will hack the scoreboard.
Which I don't really care. I mean, there have been sometimes I've been like, okay, let's redo this mission, but this time I won't get caught. To see how high I can get my points, or see if I can find any extra evidence to give me that extra boost in points. I've done that. And the one thing, well, actually there's 2 things that kind of bother me. One, the pre-rendered videos in the game do look good, but the problem I have with them is that there's this unusual glow around all of the characters, and this glow sticks out like an inch from every person that's on screen.
Only during the cutscenes, though?
Yeah, during the pre-rendered cutscenes, none of the in-game cutscenes. And it's it's just kind of distracting when I'm trying to pay attention to, the story that's going on in the game, when I just see this magnificent aura coming off of everybody that's talking.
Mm-hmm. You sure they're not angels?
I don't know. Definitely not 47. But no, it's just distracting whenever I'm trying to pay attention to that. And another thing is, you have 2 ways to subdue, anyone. I know I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. It's like corrode, where you take your strangle wire and, strangle the person with it. Or there's the subdue option, which you just basically wrap your arm around their neck and, they get knocked out that way. And I just don't see a point to having two options to do the exact same thing, because you still get penalized for taking out the non-target person both ways, and I just kind of find it pointless to have two options that do the exact same thing.
Does it have the Vulcan nerve pinch?
No, it doesn't, but I kind of find it funny that you can find like random melee weapons lying around, and if a guy like comes up and goes, hey, and he actually finds your costume suspicious, you can just walk up and crack him alongside the head with it. I just find that funny. But no, the game is really, really good. I think I'm almost done with it. I think I only have like 3 more missions left, which I'm pretty sure are split up into other sections. But let me quick pull up my play time in this game so far. Yeah, I have 11 hours into it, going on 12 really soon. And I see myself playing this even more, because not only do you have, the whole score system, if you care about that, and the multiple ways to kill people in one mission, or multiple ways just to get through an area type thing, but there's also a different game mode called Contracts mode, where it's kind of user generated, where they basically take they take the missions from the story mode, but they put in other like objectives that you can do, where you just go through, and there are certain limitations that they can put on, like you can only wear your suit, you can only shoot your pistols type thing. But they basically have it set up to where you can move through the same levels that you can do in the story mode, but there's like a different guy that you would have to take out, all the while following these limitations, and it's pretty challenging. I did the first like 3 of them that the game developer made. I didn't try any custom ones as of yet, but they're really challenging, especially with those limitations that they put on you. You really have to think on your feet just to avoid getting detected, on top of trying to get the guy that they marked. But
it's good to hear that game actually is a good one, because it looked really interesting to me, but I was going to wait until a little later to pick it up.
Yeah, one good example of, the game having multiple ways to beat it is, I remember the gun store, where you have to get you call your pistols the silver ballers or something, which they're your trademark silenced pistols. And I think there's only really 2 ways. There might be more. I haven't found them out yet. But you basically get in a bargain with the owner, because you gave your pistols to an informant just to get information. Come to find out later that he just pawned them off. So then when you go to get them back, you enter in this deal with the owner of the store, basically saying, if you can outshoot my daughter in the gun range, then I'll let you have the pistols. So I tried that. It was hard. Really hard. Like, as I was going through it, I'm like, oh, she only has that many points, so I'll just keep going. And once time ended, her points are double mine. I'm like, oh, God, I just barely hit all the characters, So you have to be pretty accurate with that. So then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to steal them. So I basically went through the entire process of finding it, where you got to sneak back behind the main counter to get the key card, then go out actually into the gun range, without being detected, and find like this hidden vault that has the book that has the code on it for the safe. And then you have to go and sneak into the area where the safe is to unlock the safe, to get the key to get to the case. And I just had way more fun doing that than, shooting targets, because I was actively thinking on my feet throughout the entire thing.
And it worked out for you.
It was fun, and yeah, it worked out. And I just love that I can play it however I want and, still get the same results. And it's just really fun. I do recommend it. Like with everything, get it on a sale if you can. If you find it worth it, buy it the full price. But, I definitely think it's worth it. Especially, I paid $10 for it because it was 75% off, and I actually wouldn't mind paying at least, $20, $30 for it. Just because it's that good. I see so much replayability in it. To where, I'll get my money's worth.
Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye on the sale for that. Because I have played the other Hitman games, but not that one. But it's nice to hear that they didn't go the easy route, that they actually did make it a challenging game.
Yes, it is quite challenging.
That's one thing I kind of liked about the original Splinter Cell on Xbox, was it was very difficult, and one mistake and the whole thing's over. Whereas the newer ones, they kind of eased it up a lot to where you can essentially shoot your way out of any situation, and it's like, I kind of like the idea that you can't. So.
Well, you can in this. It's just if you care about your score, it's just going to tank.
Right, but the fact that they give you so many options, and the fact that you don't have regenerating health, makes that a very difficult option to consider. When you have 10 other ways you can get through that particular area.
Yep.
So that's good.
But that's been pretty much all I've been playing since last time, so on to you, Marauder.
I have a few.
Really?
Just a handful, really. Yes. Surprising, isn't it?
Buy any new Dreamcasts?
No. They're actually getting harder to find.
That's because you own them all.
Yeah, I do. It was a good deal. I'm a bargain hunter.
Maybe the third one was a good deal. I'm not sure about the sixth.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so to add to my pile of electronic consoles, I have a new console, which is the Nintendo Wii U, which I picked up, I think, last week.
I can't hear the name of that console without thinking of Kung Pao, the film. Wii U!
It's a terrible name for a console, I'll be completely honest. I don't like the name. I mean, I didn't like the name of the Wii when that was first announced, but I got over it. I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that the Wii U is called the Wii U. I think it would have been better had they gone back and just called it the Revolution. Because that's what they're essentially trying to do with this whole tablet controller thing.
They could have called it the US with a double U.
Mm-hmm.
Well, two U's, not a double U. You know what I mean.
Yeah. But, yeah, I picked one up. I was debating whether or not to pick one up, but a local store near my house was having a really good deal on it. So, and it being a Nintendo console, I know there's going to be games on there you can't get anywhere else, like Zelda, Metroid, and so on. Also, it helped that I played a demo for the new Super Mario Bros. U game and really, really enjoyed it. So, went out and picked one up, so I got 2 games with that. I did buy the black model, so I did get Nintendo Land with it. Nintendo Land's okay. It's just a bunch of mini games, stuff to keep you occupied while you're waiting for other games to come out. But yeah, it's fine. It's no Wii Sports, but there are a couple really good games on there. I especially liked the Zelda Quest game, and the Luigi's Mansion was fun. Other than that, I picked up the new Super Mario Bros. U game, which is great. I have not played a Mario Brothers in a long time, and this one's actually challenging. Unlike the one on the Wii that was just a cakewalk for me.
Yeah, I remember when I was over to your house last, we were trying to beat that ghost ship or whatever, and I kept dying, surprisingly, just over how, more challenging it was than the other new Super Mario Bros. Games have been.
I had to look up a walkthrough to get out of the ghost house, and I have not had to look up a walkthrough to get out of a ghost house in a really long time. But there was a place where they hit a door that was just completely, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just ended up getting stuck in this cycle of going through the same 3 rooms over and over again. But, yeah, no, it's a really solid game. I really like it, so. As for the system itself, I don't really have much to say. It's fine. It plays games. It works. The controller's interesting, even though I don't really have any games that really utilize it in any special way. Some of the stuff on Nintendo Land's interesting, like when you play the Zelda game, the person with the screen is an archer, which is interesting. Well, everyone else is like a swordsman. Or the Metroid game is interesting in there, where the guy with the tablet controller plays as the spaceship, Samus character, and everyone else is just on the ground running around shooting stuff. So, I don't know. I'll wait and see what comes out later.
Do you think Nintendo were wise to kind of get the jump on the other companies by releasing their new console now?
I don't think it'll hurt them.
I don't think so, because they don't have games for it yet.
Yeah, the thing is, they have until Christmas, because that's when the PS4 is coming out, well, they said holiday season, so, next Christmas. And so they have until then to put out as many games as they can and get their library up and give people a reason to buy one. I bought it mainly because it's completely backwards compatible with Wii stuff. And as Phoenix knows, I freaking love the Wii. So being able to move all my games over is a useful feature. Backwards compatibility is a really, really big plus.
Are you just going to put the old Wii in the Dreamcast box?
It's actually in the box with my Super Nintendo right now.
Or should I say the Dreamcast room?
When I'm buried, my casket's gonna be made out of Dreamcast systems, just all glued together.
Or your accountant will be looking over your finances and saying, "Why do you have this apartment downtown, man?" And it turns out you're just keeping all your Dreamcasts there.
You're just not gonna let go of the fact that I have so many Dreamcasts, are you?
Well, you're not going to let go of them, are you?
I sold one.
One.
Yeah. And then I bought another one.
Well, there you go.
Well, anyway, so yeah, the Wii U, it's fine. It's hard to really give an overall opinion on it. The games look really nice because it is full HD, which is great, finally. And it upscales all the Wii stuff to 720p. Well, that's what I have mine set at because my TV's only 720p. But it is upscaling everything, so that's nice. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is it's kind of weird to play Wii games on it, because when you put a Wii game in it, it requires you to boot into Wii mode. So then the whole system restarts and shows up as a Wii. Like, the menus look the same, it even has the access to the same virtual console shop and everything.
So rather than it being backwards compatible, did they just build a Wii into it?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's fine with me. It's really a minor gripe. As long as it does it, I don't care how it does it.
At least they didn't go the Sega route of just having the consoles stack on top of each other.
Yeah, plug your Wii into this one and it'll be fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. New Super Mario Bros. U is a really, really good Mario game. It's probably the best Mario game I've played in a long time, and that includes the Galaxy game. I did not play Galaxy 2 yet, so I can't say anything about that. Is it worth the price? I don't know. That's a lot of money for a console, $350. I paid about $340 for the console plus Mario U with the deal that they had going at the store.
You don't mind paying money for a game system you'll never use, though, do you?
Oh, I use it, but I use it mostly to play Wii games right now.
What about that? Was it PlayStation Vita
Oh, jeez.
that you were so excited about?
I was really excited about it, and then just nothing's coming out for it. Yeah, it's literally just been sitting on the charger pretty much since I brought it home. I have other games I've been playing that are sucking up my time. I do have Persona 4 to play on it, but I just can never get around to it because I have so many other games I'm playing. So yeah, on top of the 2 Wii U games, I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles a lot. I probably dumped about another 10 hours into that game over the last 2 or 3 days. It's fantastic. Once you pick up your 3rd character in the refugee camp, the whole game really starts picking up. Because she's a healer, and that really, really helps. Because up to that point, it's a real hassle to get anywhere. Because it's you and your friend Ryan, and you just run around, and you can easily get slaughtered by pretty much anything. So, it's nice to have a healer, finally. But no, that's a really, really good RPG on the Wii. Other than that, the only other thing I've really been putting any time into is Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, and I talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. It's awesome. It's actually, I think, a system seller, and I can say that knowingly because our friend Alex bought a 3DS for Fire Emblem. So, well, that, and he bought it for Kingdom Hearts 3D. But yeah, it's a really good strategy game. Anyone who's a fan of it, go pick it up if you can find it. Apparently it's very, very hard to find.
Aren't they going to do another print run of that, though?
Yeah, it's not... They did another print run and it sold out.
Oh.
So they're on their 3rd print run now. So hopefully they will, get enough supply to meet demand. I read one article saying that some people are theorizing that Nintendo is purposefully not putting the game out so that people will buy it digitally on their Nintendo service and just download it. I don't see why, though. Like, if you know people want it, why not just pump it out and get it out there and make money? I don't know. It probably costs them like 10 cents to make the cartridge.
Yeah, they're literally stalling their money flow if they are doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would be doing that, so... Interesting theory, but I just don't think it has any legs to stand on, so to say. But yeah, no, it's a really, really good game. Anyone who's a fan of RPGs, check it out. It's really compelling. It is a strategy RPG game, so if you're not so much into strategy games, you might have some trouble getting into it, but I just love it. And, one more game. I did finally pick up Dead or Alive 5 on the Xbox 360, because a store near my house was having a buy one, get one half off, so I picked up that and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Oh, didn't I see you showing those off in your collection update?
Yes. And I did have some time to sit down and play through the story a bit. They fixed all the problems I had with Dead or Alive 4, which is great, in terms of the timing with the countering and blocking and so forth. All the characters are there, although I have a feeling they're missing one, but I'm not sure. Maybe he's unlockable. There's
DLC?
3 characters. No, none of the characters are DLC. That was stated by the developer. They said they're not putting any characters out via DLC.
That's nice of them.
Because they said it was hard enough to balance the game, as it were, and then just to add new characters in unbalances it further, so they just said we're not doing that. There are a lot of costumes, and there's a couple levels you can download. Speaking of DLC, so this was my trying to play this game. So I brought it home and I popped it in my Xbox, and it pops up and needs to update because it's an Xbox game. It needs to update. Fine. So it updated, and then when it brought me to the main menu, every single thing on the main menu, besides the Xbox Live Marketplace, was locked. Like, literally had a line through it and a little padlock next to it. And the game popped up a message and said I had to go download the Dead or Alive catalog from the Marketplace in order to continue to play. And I thought that was strange, so I go on the Marketplace and I can't find a single thing labeled catalog. And, you know, I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes trying to figure this out, and I can't find the thing labeled catalog. So I go online, and sure enough, people are having the same problem. Can't find this catalog thing. And eventually, I just couldn't figure it out online either. Nobody knew. So I went back on the Xbox store, and I found a thing labeled Dead or Alive 5 content. And I downloaded that because it was free. And sure enough, that's what I had to download. And once that was done, then the game could be played. Apparently, after the update, you have to then download that content patch in order to get the game working. I find that very strange. If you know it's required in order to play the game, why doesn't the system just download it? Why is it not part of the game? Or, you know, part of the initial update of the game. It makes little sense to me. But once I figured that out, the rest of the game worked fine. Yeah, no real complaints. I haven't played it all that much, but it is, what I have played is a lot of fun. So that's all I've been playing. Is that everything?
There is one thing. For anybody that listens to this very, very shortly after it goes up, on Steam at the moment, Metro 2033 is 66% off, and I would recommend it for that low, low price.
Oh yeah.
Has very,
I recommend it too.
Has a very eerie atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a pretty high-end system to run that. It is a quite a difficult game to get running very well.
If you can get it running, it's definitely worth it though.
Yes, it is a lot of fun. I have it as well, and it's a blast. Alright, well, is that everything?
Yes.
Nothing from Phoenix? We're all set?
Oh, we're good.
Good. Okay. Alright, well, that should wrap up this episode of Welcome to Bonus Stage. Again, I'd like to thank our special guest, Jab from OceanofBees.com. And as always, my co-host, Phoenix923, for sitting through this with me once again. Again, if you guys want to ask us any questions, please leave them in the comment section below of this video, or you can go to the OceanofBees.com forum and leave them in the corresponding thread, and we'll get to them next episode.
Please, God, leave some comments.
Yes, it's been something I've been requesting, and nobody's doing it, so get on that.
You need listeners first.
Anyone who listens to this, get on that.
Just tell us you're listening, if nothing else.
Yes, at least let me know you're out there so that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time.
We should have said this at the beginning in case people don't make it to the end.
Well, probably. Anyway, alright, we'll wrap this up right here. So, I'd like to thank everyone who is listening to this, and as always, I'm your host, Marauder.
I'm Phoenix923.
And I am the mighty Jab.
Well done. And we'll see you guys on the next one.